Rick, are you okay with the organizational setup where they're going to hire a GM after the draft? At first, I looked at that, and I was like, I don't know if I'm a big fan of that, but if Rivera's coming in there and calling all the shots and he's retaining some of the guys and throwing some guys overboard, I don't really hate it. I think I'm okay with it at this point.
Yeah, everybody's been asking for the place to be burned down and driven from the land. Okay, here we go. Everybody's gone pretty much. So I think they've got maybe a team president in their pocket, and they're waiting for it for different reasons. But it's okay. I mean, he's not going to be the guy picking the draft, hopefully.
Right.
You know, we don't want another Bruce here. So
right.
if you want to wait for him, that's fine.
What do you make of the whole Erich Schaefer mess there? Is that simply just Ron bringing in his own guy? Sounds like he had his own guy there in Carolina. A lot of local media loved Erich, it seemed like. He got a lot of good press.
Well, you know, Erich was a good guy, and he was good at what he did. And people confuse things about, well, they lost, so he couldn't be that good. Man, it has nothing to do with each other. Fans are so bitter right now, it's just ridiculous. Nothing will make them happy. If they got Burrow, they'll want Young. They get Young, they'll want Burrow.
That's true.
That's just the fan base is just, you hear it more than me.
Right.
Fan base is just, they're bottomed out, and they're going to be angry for a long time.
Right.
So do what you got to do. But Schaefer, you know, I liked how they played the game of, well, Schaefer's fired. Oh, no, I'm sitting here at my desk. Yeah, for a few days.
Right.
You know, they just did that for appearances. And I think Schaefer was looking for something bigger, maybe the team president role, and Rivera's got his own guy in mind. So Rivera is going to either take this team to something good or something bad, but it's going to be on him.
How could it be any worse? It can't be any
more
worse.
on Haskins? The way I see it is if Haskins succeeds, Rivera will. If he doesn't, if he's average, if he's not a star, then it's not going to work for Ron Rivera.
And I've seen many a new coach come in and look at the quarterback they had and go,
right.
I'm not really, and that happens a lot, which is why you don't play down a chance of even Tua's on the board, for it. I don't know. Rivera didn't, give him a hug and a kiss there at that presser. But he's trying to, when he doesn't want the kid to think he's got it automatically. He's going to have to work for it.
Right. But I could see him bailing it after a year for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, if it doesn't work, he's definitely looking at him. And Haskins has a lot to go before he's ready to be a, real good quarterback.
What do you make of, let's just assume Scott Turner has a better offense, O'Connell just as unproven, but just sort of learning the new verbiage, learning the new plays, all of that, how much of a hurdle is that for him to overcome?
Well, it shouldn't be if you put in the work.
Yeah.
I mean, you got, how many months is it till opening day? 8, something like that. Okay, you got 8 months to learn a new language. I think you can do it. Get those tapes out and just keep watching. But that shouldn't be the excuse.
Yeah, not saying it's an excuse. I'm just saying it's a thing. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is. I mean, there's a lot to know. The biggest thing the Redskins are going to need, they got to find themselves a tight end. I mean, I don't think Jordan. You can't expect Jordan Reed to be back. I don't know if he will or not.
Even if he comes back, he can't.
Scott's offense is going to resemble some of Norv's, which was a Zampese, which was an Air Coryell offense.
Right.
And the tight end, Norv used to turn Steven Alexander into a great tight end.
Right.
Jamie Asher was a great tight end. I mean, good Lord.
Yeah, you're going back.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, that was Norv's.
I don't know if I'd qualify Jamie Asher as great.
Jamie Asher was no, not great, but he was very good. He was much better than he would have been anywhere else.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, I'll put it that way. So I think you're going to find yourself a tight end, but where? Do you find him in free agency? The second round pick is gone, so that would have been a tight end thing. There's no first round pick tight end. So they got to find one because that's how this offense really works, and that will help Haskins immensely. That's something he really missed. Vernon Davis was gone too, so they had nothing. Jeremy Sprinkle, so this offense got to find a tight end, and that could make a big difference.
Maybe they pursue a guy like Austin Hooper from Atlanta, who's a free agent this year.
They're going to overpay somebody because they desperately need one.
Right. What's the latest on the whole the stadium deal? Like, what are we down to? Nobody really wants him, right?
Man, it's just crashed and burned.
Who's taking over the reins now that Bruce is gone?
I haven't heard yet. I mean, it's got to be Dan Snyder at some point has to step up and show his face. I mean, Cook couldn't pull off a deal in D.C. partly because he didn't want to, but they basically need Donald Trump to get interior to sell this land to D.C. And why shouldn't they? We're American citizens here. We should be entitled to this land too. We're going to buy it. We're not taking it. And they need that land to be able to get an extended lease on the stadium. That happens, the stadium will go. I mean, the mayor's for it. The council is very lukewarm, but, you know, once money gets flashed, come along. But he is the only one left. I mean, Maryland gave money to save Pimlico and Baltimore and save the horse racing industry up there. That was a couple $100 million. You know, Amazon got Virginia's money. I mean, so D.C., they ask how they're going to pay for it. Well, you're getting ready to start sports gaming in about a month or two.
Right.
Why can't we put some of that money into this? So I think it's still way in flux. Snyder is not a good negotiator on these kind of things. But he's either got to find somebody, but he's got to call in some political favors and start these wheels going.
Joined by Rick Snider, columnist here on 106.7 The Fan. You can read his latest columns at thefandc.com. One of your bits during Redskins games is to, you know, send pictures and let people know how many Redskins fans are actually going to the games. These are estimates, your eyeball test. I know the last game was just a woeful attendance of Redskins fans. I think you thought maybe it was only 10,000 there, something like that. Do you see that changing if they win? If they just simply win, or is the fan base damaged so much?
Well, Bruce gone is a key. I did a Twitter poll, had 800 people vote. And I said, okay, Bruce is gone. Are you coming back? And 2/3 of them said yes.
Kind of it's crazy.
Sucker.
Yeah.
Suckers. So it helps, but they're in a flux here. I mean, supposedly you are now 7 years away from a new stadium. Could be in D.C. You're looking at a totally different market of buyers. And no one has ever said this, but I really worry about PSLs coming into play, which means average people just can't afford it. So I don't know. I think you tread water attendance-wise for the next few years and then use the new stadium as a lure to bump up FedEx attendance at the end. I mean, there are marketing people from the Redskins who call season ticket holders and say, if you don't renew your tickets now, you won't get tickets to the new stadium. Dude, that's 8 seasons from now.
Yeah, nobody cares.
What kind of approach is that?
Nobody cares.
It's called a desperate approach.
I have heard it. And you're thinking if you're, say, 65 now, when I'm 73, I mean, this aging fan base, you can't get that, but they're using that, and I don't think they're using it well.
Right.
So they've got a lot to look at, and the stadiums in this country are changing so much. The next one's got to have things like 5G. 14 NFL stadiums have 5G technology in them. 14. This isn't one of them because it costs about $2 million. I guess they don't want to put it in. But the British soccer leagues, I write for Sports Business now, so I learn all this stuff. The British soccer leagues gained huge attendance this past year because they went to the 5G system and went to people's phones to entice them to come back to games because they found out a key thing in attendance was people didn't want to give up their phones for a couple hours. That sounds ridiculous to me. Go watch the game. Don't worry about your phone. But that's the reality of the new market. And so they've got to figure out those kind of things. You got to make things like, here's an Instagram spot in the stadium. Take the pictures. Eligible for prizes. You got to do these kind of new things to the new markets. You're sorry to tell you this, but y'all are getting older too.
Trust us, we know.
We're not the market. We go to a game, eat a hot dog, and watch the game. That's not what the younger generation is doing. It's an event. It's not a game.